going on, guys? Welcome back. Boat Gang checking in. Shout out to the Boat Gang. You guys have been awesome lately with comments and new subscribers and the views, and I really appreciate it. I love sharing this stuff with you guys. I love learning. I love talking about this stuff, and you guys have been super cool. So if you're not subscribed, please consider it. I'd love for you to come along and come do this thing with us and follow along on these builds and things we're doing and getting right into it. So I did tell you guys we had a big mail day coming up, right? I've been waiting on parts. I've been waiting on OSE. Alex at Dr. Props sent me some props to try. Super excited for those. So I guess let's get into it. So also Tenshock, brand new 6-pole. This is the P Limited motor. So this thing's been making some waves lately, and I got a little story for you guys on this. But okay. First things first, let's kick it off. Sly Cat Racing out of Canada. Super cool guy, and basically he makes custom makes wide Speedmaster blades. And so a standard Speedmaster blade, granted this is a tapered version, so it's going to look a little different, but it's about 1 inch wide. And so inch wide and pickups only on one side. These have been enlarged. I did that. I also bore out these holes a little bit. Anyway, so the Sly Cat version has pickups on both sides, right? So in theory, left or right, you're probably going to get better flow or a more consistent flow. It's a full 1.5 inches wide. So this is a thick boy blade. It's wide. And so for the Decepticon, I wanted this because that boat has some weird handling tendencies. And so I think this might be helpful. The only thing is he did put the water pickups relatively low. And usually on these huge Speedmaster rudders, I like to really shorten them because they're way too long for most boats, right? So because these are kind of low, I might have to get creative. I might have to drill some new pickups or cut it or just run it deep. We'll see. I've got several of these Speedmaster blades. I love Speedmaster because you can swap blades, you can swap extensions, you can try different setback lengths. So super cool, super excited to try that. Let's get into props next. Okay, so these two here are a matching twin set. Ignore those. Those are test props, highly classified, for testing. And so this one here is actually a 647, 6 pitch, 47 millimeter, CNC 3-blade. Beautiful prop. I think it's CNC, but he prints them, he finishes them. Absolutely beautiful. I've got a couple on the shaft. I've got a 45 millimeter killer prop. He calls them 6-pitch. They're not. They run very they are. Sure, right? But I'm saying as far as my temperatures and my speeds have gone, I'm not getting 6-pitch out of them. So this, for example, is an ABC 1814 3-blade. And this same size prop in the Dr. Prop runs the same speed, same temp, same everything. So to me, based on my reference points, it's more like a 1.4 pitch. But on this ABC prop, check out how much rake, right? So the rake angle is coming off the bore, how far the edge of the prop extends. So a prop like this isn't going to have much lift, right? It's going to be like a low lift prop, whereas something like this, which I kind of like, you can see almost no rake. And so this prop's going to have lift. And basically the difference is with a prop that's a low lift prop, you're going to need to somehow make up for that lift. So usually on an ABC prop, on a high rake prop like that, you'll run a lot of negative angle or some negative angle, and you'll push the CG forward, and you might even run the strut deeper. And so you do all of this to basically lift the back end, keep the nose down, and ABCs work great. I'm tending, as of late, and this kind of changes, but tending to really like props with some lift, because a prop like this, I can run the strut completely neutral, CG at 30%, boat's happy, getting the same speeds, right? And the boat's actually running more stable. So little pro tip, this prop is going on the MHC Lizard, so you guys are going to see that boat again, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you're going to see that boat do 60 miles an hour on 4S with everything else the same. So, okay, let's get to the Tenshock 6-pole, making some waves in the industry. Very cool motor. I'll be honest, I bought this kind of, not an impulse buy, but I bought it because I knew they were going to run out. I heard there's a long wait time. I knew I wanted one. I was on the fence, but I knew I wanted one. I saw they were running low on stock, pulled the trigger. I also got the... All right, I had to cut real quick. So $179 for the motor. If you get the Hydra, it's an extra $220, normally like $275-ish. So you get the combo. It's basically a badass P-Limited combo. The windings, the silver-coated windings, which are kind of unique, are pushed right to the end bell, right? So much so you don't even have room for motor screws. So you have a nifty motor plate to use with it. It's a clamping system. OSC put on extended wires with 6.5 millimeter bullets. So direct connection to the X8S Hydra. And a motor like this is going to pull the amps on 4S to where you would need the Hydra. So it's a perfect combo. Saved the $50. Kind of a sweet little motor. If you don't know, basic rundown on it, it's a 37 by 60 millimeter small lightweight motor that essentially packs the power of like a 4082. And so big power out of this thing. Super cool cooling jacket. I haven't heard anyone else talking about this, but it is baffled inside to force the water to fully loop around, so you're not running the risk of having the jacket only half full or something like that. Like I said, if you race P-Limited, then you already know about this. You'll need this motor to even be competitive now, right? So whatever you had before, throw it in the trash. This is now the gold standard. It's running 10 miles an hour faster than everything else. If you race, you need it. If you don't race, I'll be honest, not only are they out of stock, but if you don't race, you don't really need a P-Limited motor, right? Because it's not, it's not the end of the world to have a little bit heavier motor. Where this motor came in handy for me, right, and the reason I picked it up is because on my UL19, which you guys know this boat, it runs a 4068 Sonic Wake V2 motor, OSC 150 on 6S. And the problem with this boat, right, this boat is CG challenged. And so I struggle on this boat to get the weight forward. And putting a 4082 in this boat throws the CG off, right? Everything I've done to try and force the CG forward, a heavy motor ruins that. So I needed something lightweight. I wanted to go 4S to get 4S 2P so I can get bigger packs for more forward weight distribution. And I needed a lightweight motor, but I still wanted power. I still want to haul ass. So enter this P-Limited motor that is supposed to be magic in a can. I've seen the data logs. It makes, big power. It's efficient. It doesn't lose much RPM. Only kicker. The only kicker is that I ordered a 2300 and there was a slight fumble, and this is a 2050. And a 2050 on 4S, which is what I want to run, it's, in my opinion, it's a bit too spicy for 6S and not spicy enough for 4, which is what I wanted to run anyway. So as much as it's going to crush me, I have to send this back. I can't run this motor. I've reached out to OSC. I'm sure they're going to make it right. I'm not too worried about it unless, of course, it's out of stock and I've got to wait 6 months or something crazy, which would just be a nightmare. So fingers crossed, because a lightweight motor in this boat, keeping it light with big power, this thing is going to be absolutely psychotic. It's already so sweet, and I know that the castle with the 4S packs, right? So I'll have extra weight in the sponsons. Then I'll have a much more powerful motor. I want to weigh them because I'm pretty sure this 4068 is actually heavier than this little motor, than this 3760. So yeah, I'm just super bummed out about that, but going to get it taken care of. That motor will be absolutely killer. So like I said, stay tuned. We got Decepticon coming. We've got Decepticon props. We've got a prop for the Lizard to hit some new speeds with that. Got my prop box here with some of the props. And I think that's it. Alex Prop sent me these. Shout out to him. Dr. Props does really good work. Slycat Racing, if you want to try a wider blade rudder, these are mainly for gas boats, right? And that's because they're so long and they're big and they're for big boats. So this, unless you have a Decepticon, right, which we'll see if it even helps, probably don't need this. But it's nice to know you have options, right? Because a lot of people run Speedmasters and don't know you can get a wider blade. So it's cool. It's an option. Check out his site, all good. Not really a sponsored video, but it's there. Also, Mad Lizard is sending me a UL turn fin, the one Big B at Ironclad runs, so I can try that on my boat, as well as a couple other fins. I have ESCs coming. Sick ESCs that a buddy is helping me out with. Castle ESCs for the Decepticon. It's going to be absolutely bonkers. On the props I already have, I'm going to test these props. I've got some new connectors, some stuff to solder up. And yeah, guys, that's it. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend.